Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. And today we have a special guest replay provided by our friend Sibs in the Object 430U, the Tier 10 Soviet Tech Tree medium tank. Now, I featured Sibs replays on my channel before. He has recently started his own YouTube channel, and he provides full commentary on his replays and does some pretty good stuff. So I've linked his channel to the title of this video. And I feel, World of Tanks is a smallish game, but a really strong community. And I think when we can try and, help fellow community out with their sort of channel, I think it's a good idea. So please feel free to, go and look at his channel, give him a subscribe. He's got some good videos on there, and it's well worth a watch. So the first replay we've got, for this replay he's provided us, it's a really decent game. If you want to see the equipment and crew setup he uses in this tank, that is at the bottom of the screen as I speak. It's been a long while since I played the Object 430U, and I must admit, after watching this video, I feel like getting it out again myself. It's a good medium tank. It has 440 alpha, which is nice for a medium tank. It's got a combination of really decent armour, got good turret armour, good hull armour. It's good at side scraping. It has good concealment as well, so you can play as that medium tank, and decent mobility for a tank of its armour. So it's a fairly well balanced tank in that, it can do multiple of roles really. If you get like a map like Himmelsdorf where you're in the town, you can go and brawl. If you've got a map where you want to, a bit bigger like this, you can do a multiple of different things, which is quite nice. It's limited by its 5 degrees of gun depression, of course, but it's a Soviet medium tank. What do you expect? And it has decent DPM, I think around sort of 3,000-ish for its 440 alpha, which is nice. So already on Mali, which is Team Destruction, and he's platooned up with his friend Fades there in the Ruthless, and he's in a decent position to start battling on this hill. There's no enemy artillery, so he can just worry about fighting the tanks in front of him, and so far so good. He's managed to sort of take no damage. He's managed to get these shots in, and he's doing a good job here. Obviously, like I say, a little bit limit here with gun depression makes life a little bit awkward, but you can make do, and it shows here that you can still fight in a location like this, even when you've got tanks sort of with more gun depression in front of you. Now he's focusing the E6 here because he's got shots at his cupola, as well as the fact that this tank has fantastic DPM, the E6, so it's a good target to take out because obviously he's going to be able to dish out the most damage. Bit unfortunate with that shot on the cupola. I'm not too sure it went. It seemed to fly straight through him, but he's still got more opportunities, and he has to overpoke a little bit here to get the shot in, but he's limited there with the gun depression. He's trying his best to stay as hold down as he can. IS-7's fully hold down. That's not going to be an easy target to get shots in, so he's focusing on the E6 here to get rid of one tank, and then he's got less to worry about. Like I say, a lot of the enemy team have pushed around the back of the map, sort of into their spawn, but that's not a big concern in the sense that they don't have to worry about getting capped out because it is Team Destruction. But what they do need to do is kill these tanks in front as soon as they can, so they don't end up in a situation where they've got tanks shooting them from behind and in front. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's putting up the pace here and doing what he can to get rid of this I-7 as quickly as he possibly can. And you can see the damage is starting to rack up there. I-7 is a 2-shot to him now. He goes for a shot on the lower plate, unfortunately bounces, swaps to the heat shell so we can just confirm this target as quickly as possible. But then he gets shut down by his friendly platoon mate, and now he's moving in on these 2 tanks on the hill. Now this E100 is about to get slapped by his platoon mate in the Ruthless, which does happen there, and then he manages to finish him off, picking up his first kill of the game. Sturm Tiger is in all sorts of bother. He obviously doesn't want to get slapped by the Sturm, but the Sturm gets taken out anyway. And they have now successfully won the hill, but they have pretty much lost the rest of the, his team has lost the rest of the control of the map. But like I say, it's Team Destruction, so it's well in the balance this game at the moment. You can see it's still fairly even on the score lines, and there's a lot more to come from this replay. So he's now pushing down to see if he can extend his view range and spot the targets which he knows are down the bottom of this 9-0 line somewhere. At least there are some tanks there. They do get spotted by his enemy tanks on the left moving forward, so he's going to see if he can squeeze in any shots here. So you do have for a medium tank here, you do have some decent concealment value as well in this tank, so it is well balanced. He gets a nice shot there into one of the enemy heavies. He's going to try and see if he can follow that up with a shot into the other enemy heavy, which he does, putting him on to 5,000 damage. So already, he's on a good game here, but there's a lot of hit points left remaining here. So at the moment, there's no real sense of moving while he has available shots at him. He might as well just try and pick up these shots. A lot of these tanks are sort of somewhat hold down, so it is slightly awkward. He pops his food here just to extend his view range a little bit more. An enemy Type 5 does get spotted on the right hand side, but he managed to finish the one-shot 7.5A there, picking up his second kill of the game, bringing the score back to a 7 versus 7. So he's now going to push forward again and extend his view range. Again, just trying to stay hold down where he can and use this rock on the right hand side to give him some protection from enemy Type 5, which is now kind of pushed down into low ground, and maybe he can get some shots in, but he does get spotted. He doesn't quite have the gun depression there to lean down and get that shot in on the Type 5. He's now in an awkward situation if targets get spotted on the right hand side, and unfortunately there is a tank there and he loses a big chunk of his hit points, so he now knows he needs to pull back down into cover, and it's not going to be so safe in order to do that. But he does have side shots into the turret here of his enemy heavy tank, so he squeezes in another shot, putting him to 5,000 damage. And you can see there's a ping behind. I think that's from his platoon mate letting them know there is targets climbing the hill behind them. So again, this puts them in a situation: do they either push forward, kill the tanks in front, or do they turn around and deal with the hill? Now, pushing the tanks down the 909 is not going to be optimal because there could be tanks on the sort of JK line covering those tanks. So he's opted to push back up the hill and try and deal with the threats coming behind him. It is an enemy dreaded AVRE. He obviously doesn't want to get one shot by that if it pens through his side in between the tracks there. But he gets slapped, this enemy AVRE, and puts onto a one shot, and he's taken out very, very quickly indeed, putting him to 6,000 damage and confirming his third kill of the game. They now have the advantage in a 7 versus 5, but it's still, as I say, a very close game. The enemy team do have more freedom on the map at the moment because we're fairly limited to having the hill and this sort of one side and the 9-0 line. But like I say, there's no cap to worry about. The enemy team does, Bar gets a kill and brings it back into sort of 6 versus 5 for the enemy team there. Now he has side shots into this Type 5 heavy who's in an awkward situation because he's getting shot at from the hill. He's getting shots in. He puts himself onto almost 7,000 damage now, and he's trying to find a shot into the cupola of this Type 5. He does squeeze one in, which puts him onto a one shot, and that Type 5 quickly gets taken out, which again brings it back to a 6 versus 4, restoring the 2 tank advantage. Now he knows there was tanks at the sort of the B5-6 location or roundabouts because he got shot from there earlier, so that's the last known location. So having his friendly platoon mate in a Rufus in a tank destroyer, he's going to try and push forward now, I guess, to extend his view range and see if he can spot that tank which shot him earlier, and in which case he should in theory get some assistance potentially from his friendly platoon mate. He does manage to spot a target, the enemy Progetto, but obviously he also gets targeted as well. He's being careful because obviously he doesn't know if there's enemy tank destroyers covering him. I mean, one of the tank destroyers is a Bar, and we know that Bar was last known at the JK line because it killed a tank there earlier. But there is one more tank destroyer, which I think is a Jaegeru. Obviously it doesn't have the best concealment values, so he should outspot him, but obviously if the Progetto spots him, then he has to be careful. He doesn't want to get slapped by that target if he is sitting back. So he's pushing to the sort of church building in front, and then he's going to try and use this as cover whilst he tries to extend his view range a little bit to see if he can spot any of these targets. Where is this Progetto gone? Has this Progetto ran? I'm guessing so, as the fact that he's not getting spotted here when he peeks, or not spotted anything either. So I'm guessing that Progetto has started to run. Obviously, Progetto's got fantastic mobility as well as concealment, so he can get out of places pretty quickly. And it's 5 versus 4, so it's a very close game. So he doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks, but he's got to push forward and try and spot some targets. This enemy Jaegeru though does get spotted. He gets one shot in, and then he gets finished off by his platoon mate Fades there, picking up a little bit of assistance, putting him closer to the 8,000 damage mark. Now he's trying to lose his spot, and then again he's going to try and push forward and find this enemy Vegetto. Now the bar, I'm pretty sure the bar at this point, just known for when it got killed, was around that location-ish where it got pinned. It's around sort of the JK line somewhere, but obviously the Vegetto, you know, doesn't know where this target is gone now. You know, it could have gone anywhere, so he's just taking it very carefully. With a 5 versus 3, it could change. You know, if he gets taken out, he's having a really good game. He wants to take it safe here to make sure he doesn't throw this good game away. So one of the enemy heavy tanks is still in the 8 line. I'm guessing something's covering it because there's like 2 tanks in front that are heavy and they're not managing to kill it. So I'm guessing that enemy heavy tank does have support covering him. Obviously one's a bar, but maybe the Vegetto's moved back. So obviously Sibs is now going to try and push around, come around the back of the enemy team, or see if he spots anything coming down this way. If he doesn't spot anything, he'll be able to get all the way around and behind the enemy team and then have rear shots into them and try and pick up some more damage out of this game. With 4 minutes left on the clock, having the advantage. They are winning this game at the moment, and he spots the enemy Vegetto. He does in fact get spotted himself, but he is somewhat hold down here. Squeezes a nice shot there into the enemy turret of the Vegetto. He is, as I say, he's hold down, so he's not. It's a difficult pen for that Vegetto because he's only showing his turret armor here, and with the Vegetto poking like that, he's giving him slim shots at his turret, and he's able to pick up some damage here. He's got 2 shots in already, picks up a 3rd shot, which is nice, putting him onto 9,000 damage, and then he gets slapped by his covering platoon mate in a Ruthless, picking up some more assistance, putting himself onto over 10,000 damage combined with 9,000 damage of his own. So already he's having a really good game. I imagine at this point he's probably thinking to himself, right, I need about 2-3 more pens and I can get this 10k damage and I can just break that barrier. So he's probably just trying to get over there as quick as he can. I mean, whatever happens, he's had a really good game at this point. That he's just going to try and get round to see the back. Obviously there was an enemy bar. At this point we have no idea how many hit points the enemy bar has. You know, we're probably hoping he's really healthy. And then the enemy heavy tank, which again I'm not too sure what hit points he is on, but he's been in that location for a long time now. So I would have thought he would have started to get pushed by his friendly team, to be honest with you, but at the moment that's not happening, and that's given Sibs a little bit extra time to try and get up and behind these tanks. The bar's got to be around this location, and you know there's very little places he really can be now because he's pretty much covered most of the map and this tower has not got spotted. So there is the enemy bar. He doesn't have a lot of hit points. That shot does go in just at the top, and he picks up another shot, putting him to 9,600 damage. So he only needs 400 more damage here to get to the 10k mark. So he essentially needs 1 pen as long as it rolls for average damage, and the enemy hit tank has enough hit points left. So he's there. He does have enough hit points for the 10k. Can he get there in time? He is zooming across and trying to get there. I mean, everyone at this point is, you know, a hero, and you know, being a 5 versus 1, they're all rushing in. But he has the opportunity, and thankfully that shot goes in, and he breaks the 10,000 barrier and has a really good game indeed. So yeah, let's just see how he got on. He got over 10,000 damage with over 1,000 assistance. Picks up the 3 kills. Of course, he gets the ace tank as platoon mate phase. As a good game as well. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the content. Please, you know, give Sibs a follow. Yeah, he's a really nice guy, and yeah, it just helped him out with his channel. Yeah, but that's it. So thank you so much for your support, and happy tanking.
Hadouken!